Today I want to show you the tribe base me and my tribe are working on my community server on Genesis Part 1 in ARK Survival Ascended. Of course, I already showed you glimpses of the shanty town that we've been working on that has progressed a little bit further and is now pretty much complete. But we've also started work on our harbor, integrating some more of that Spanish colonial set, which was part of the Tides of Fortune DLC, and that skin set, of course, it's a bit of a different type of architecture, which we're applying to our little harbor. So far, we've got a few warehouses, of course, a little crafting hall. There is a whole shipwreck tavern being built, and I've been working on recreating a square from Assassin's Creed Black Flag Havana into my ocean platform. And so far, I think it looks quite good. So today we'll take a look around, hopefully give you some inspiration, and if you have any suggestions or ideas of things that we should add, please leave them down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy seeing videos like this and you want to continue to see more, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and feel free to leave your suggestions for future builds you'd really like to see down in the comments below. So it's been a little bit since I last showed you our little tribe base that we're working on the community server, and our Pirate Shanty Town has actually pretty much been completed. We now have a cool entrance here that I added to keep mostly the random tames out, mostly Armor Doggo actually, that just runs in, messes up everything, and then leaves again. So yeah, we have a little bit of like a kind of a breeding area out here where we have just a bit of space to utilize to breed different things. And then of course we use Dino Depot, so we got some displays here, and we have our bio grinder out here. This little shed was made by Vista Wild Times, and yeah, that's where we get our kibble from. We have nice parking spots over here to the side that I added just to make sure that, you know, we could park some of our tames neatly around the side here. But again, mostly we wanted to kind of block off this entrance area so that less things walk in. Of course, sometimes things still fall down from the dragon skeleton that we're located in, but it's a lot less now and it's a lot more manageable. And if you're wondering about the exact location, it's right over here on the map, so the top right corner of the world, and it's a pretty damn awesome island. Of course, it's got this dragon skeleton that we've built inside, but actually it's got a lot more, and we keep discovering more secrets. So yeah, this entrance is kind of like the breeding area, the practical area here. We also have some place here to unload the gathering tames. Then Chicken build an amazing shipwreck over here. Very, very cool. Of course, we had to have at least one of these, and he's got a bunch of cargo down below. And then we can follow this up to the top, or well, middle layer, I suppose, where, I mean, he is using this as, well, he was using it as a base. He's kind of moved out to space now, but it is looking really, really cool in here. Definitely a cool shipwreck. And then we can go up even higher before we get out on the deck. The torn up mast here with the sails kind of ripped apart, which is a really cool effect. And then of course we also have one here around the back, just looking really cool. You've got this diving board as well. You can dive into the pit that we have here. For some reason there's a giant ocean pit here. It actually has some decent resources, so been pretty nice for getting some stuff, but it's a bit random at the same time. But we'll take it. So yeah, that's the shipwreck. And of course, much of this was already kind of there last time. It has improved and been like adjusted a little bit. But we have, of course, our lovely main crafting hall here. We've got all the food related stuff over here. So we've got our pantries down below. We have you know, prepping of food up here. Still a bit open, but we have more space to grow as time goes on. And then the main storage hall, the main crafting hall, is in here. So we have our visual storage down below, which kind of serves as decoration at the same time. There's a bunch of new huts around here as well. And of course many bridges. So yeah, let's take a close look. So we have a few of these new small huts to kind of fill up the areas around the crafting hall, which is quite cool. They're just kind of filler content, but they add a lot of character to the place. You can see there's docks below them as well, which really adds in a bunch of different layers, which is exactly what we wanted and needed for this place, because as you can see, there's different heights for these walkways to get around the town, and that just really adds a lot of character to the place. So we got a little kind of bar over here where you can hang out, have a little drink, some food, which is really, really cozy. And then we got kind of these fishing shacks right next to the crafting hall with multiple layers, with this little boat parked outside. Just looks really cool. And then we got a bunch of zip lines going around. The most fun one is from that top one all the way back to the crafting hall. We'll get there in a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot of new layers that have been added here. And then Crimson's been working on her house back here as well. We can go underneath this hanging bridge to get all the way back here. So she has her house here. She's got some more walkways back here, a little boat, etc., parked up with a bunch of like little decorations, a little bit of ray of sunlight coming in, which is always nice to have, because that makes this cave a lot nicer to live in. There's some parrots hanging out here. Ooh, we got a little fish market up here, very, very cool. And then a bunch of treasures and storage and some clutter. Clutter really helps for this kind of build style. And then her house itself, we can just kind of go in, and we have a cozy living room, kind of, I suppose. Ooh, got a Shasta statue, very, very cool. I think that this is the bedroom back here. Ooh, look at that. Very, very nice and cozy in here. And then, oh, we have a little kitchen area all the way at the front. So yeah, very cozy buildings. That's kind of the whole Shantytown vibe, of course. All of these little buildings, or kind of meshed together buildings, and all of these cool walkways and hanging bridges. This one going across is definitely one of my new favorites. It's a recent addition between Wild and my side. Kind of connect everything up. Of course, Mr. Wild has gone crazy on his base. I think last time this was kind of still in construction. So we have the greenhouse over there, but you can see there's a bunch of new decorations and trophies all around here, and even some clothing being hanged out to dry. It's got an automatic opening, and as well automatic lights that turn on with the pressure plate, which is kind of cool. Oh, there we go. We got Mr. Wild. He's at home. He's been decorating the inside. Oh, he's got some monkeys hanging out here too. That's very cool to see. And then he's got his living quarters up here. Of course, a hanging bridge. There's a lot of these hanging bridges going around everywhere. Probably very confused as to why I'm walking around in his house. But it's a very cool place. Little... Oh, he's got so much space hidden behind everything. There we go. And then this way is where it now connects up to my side. So we have this staircase going up. There's also this little watchtower kind of at the end of our town, which is really cool. But this place lets you go up all the way to the top, which we built just so that we could have a nice connecting hanging bridge from one side to the other, because of course that really adds to the vibe. And these slinger hanging bridges are just really, really cool and perfect for this style. So I kind of build like a shipwreck here, like a crow's nest, well, pretty big crow's nest. And this is also where we have the zip line all the way back to the crafting hall, which is definitely a fun one to take, but it also takes you over to the back of my building. So we have another hanging bridge here, little crow's nest before we get down onto the path that I built. So this is the path behind my house, and I kind of made sure to kind of block the entrances here. So we have one entrance leading out from the base over here, and this beautiful path leading to my house. You can see it's kind of overgrown here. You've got my door here. You've got the access to some of the walkways over here as well. But the coolest part of this walkway here, I think, is that you can walk through this bone skeleton all the way to the end of the path, which will lead you to another entrance, which I kind of made a little gate for just to kind of block this off too. And of course, where it all started for me, this little circular building where I do a little bit of breeding. I'm breeding some parrots to use as decorations around the base. We've got some cosmos breeding as well, and we've got my desk with all my treasure up here too, and of course a pretty cool view of the rest of the base, which is always very welcome. And of course it's kind of interconnected again. We have our marketplace here. This was all here last time. So then we get to my house. I think I still had to decorate it last time I showed this, so we have a little bit of decoration on the inside now, just making it a bit more cozy up in here. We got a bunch of decorations, of course, being pulled up to this place. We've got my bedroom over here, which is where I sleep. So yeah, I've got my tech sleeping pod here now with the Golden Dynasty skin. We've got my pet beds for my pets every time I log out. My pirate friends can sleep there. So yeah, just a nice and cozy little bedroom up there. And then of course, this is where the path is. So that connects with that side. And then up here, I've got some more places for my treasure from all the missions and the outposts, etc., that we can now do. Plenty of storage is definitely a must-have. And then of course can go all the way down into kind of the storage area down here, where there's a bunch of little decorations, a bunch of hay bales and bags and everything. We got of course the fishing trophies, we got the motor trophies and everything. And yeah, just a bunch of little decorations all around to really capture that life and bring a lot of character to the place. Fishing baskets and more loot to be stored everywhere. I'm really liking this place. I've been having a really good time just building this all up, but we've actually been making even more progress with our survival base. So we've kind of pretty much finished this base, I would say. Probably a few little details here and there that we would like to add, maybe before calling it completely finished. But we've also started our harbors, because of course with the ship additions, yeah, you need a nice place for your ship to be parked at. So we've started work on that too. So if we walk through our crafting hall, we'll go back to the front entrance and make our way all the way over to where we're currently working on our harbor. So this is very pirate themed. This is very much a shanty town, but we are actually working on our harbors, which is a completely different style, and it's much more of the Spanish colonial set that was part of the Titus Fortune DLC. It's a really cool set actually, and I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Havana of course is in there, and it's been a great source of inspiration for me to make sure that I kind of do some different kind of building. So we're currently still very much in the process of getting that going. I did build this little road out there with various pathways. It took me a little bit to get this whole path going, but I wanted to make sure that you could be immersed in the game. You could travel to our island and kind of find a road, and it would lead you to either one of the two places, like either the main base, the shanty base, or all the way out to the harbor, to the docks, where, well, it's kind of going to be a second, well, it's not really a second base, but it's just kind of like, we need, of course, the shipyards and everything. And there you can see the shipyards in the distance already. But of course, we can't just have the shipyards. We need a little docks, etc. around it. So it's kind of the second half of our base. You can see some builds popping up over there. There's some builds starting to be rendering in. You can also see the ships. We currently have a bug where the repairing in the shipyards doesn't seem to work, which is quite annoying. Hopefully they fix that soon. But yeah, you can see it loading in. So basically this is 4 ocean platforms and then 4 shipyards, which is currently all we need for our tribe to get this going. And we've started working on building a proper little harbor, and my plan is to completely connect this up. So eventually there will be a bridge from that harbor out to this place and connect all the way with the road up to our main base. But for now we'll need to just quickly hop over. That's why I've always got a Cosmo with me. And yeah, I've been working here on this build. It's very much inspired by Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So I'm kind of making one of the squares you might see in Havana. And yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm especially really happy with that building, especially the other side of that building looks great. You can see I've got a few entrances that will lead into this main square. I need to finish the other side still, of course. But you can already see it's starting to look quite nice. I've been painting the plaster Spanish colonial set of the Tides of Fortune DLC. You can see quite some nice effects by painting them in different colors. You can kind of get the feeling that this is a whole lot of different buildings rather than all using the default texture, although the default texture is still pretty nice. So yeah, we got this big entrance, we got this building on the corner, which I think I might turn into kind of like a small little pub or something, and we got a small little building over here, and then a bunch of buildings on top of these arches. And then if we quickly go through them, you'll see nice details that are on the side as well. Still, of course, need to start adding more decorations. It's still in the early phases. Got a lovely tower here as well, using the Gothic custom cosmetic for the top, kind of to get the nice and pointy top there, which is a really nice addition. Still haven't completely finished that, as you can see. Still need to skin some parts. I kind of worked on this last night, but it's definitely starting to come together. Trying to add as much details into this, even though I'm building this square mostly to build a really cool, like kind of like square here in the middle with like a little garden there and everything. Of course, I need to build the whole thing first, but this building on the corner here kind of curves around. This is done with a bunch of clipping, but it ended up being quite nice in the end. I really like the way that this looks, and it definitely helps round off the corner, one of these corners of this square. So I'm thinking I might want to try something similar maybe on this corner, although I do not have a lot of space left on this corner. But it would be nice to kind of round this off a little bit more as well, just to make sure that it isn't a full square whenever it's finished. That's also my ship out there, just laying for anchor. But yeah, it's definitely got a good start. I really love the way it's starting to look, and definitely has been very fun, you know, playing Black Flag the last few weeks, and then trying to get some of that inspiration going in here. This is actually also a full-on breeding pen, so it's completely enclosed, making sure that I can do some safe ocean breeding underneath this this ocean platform, which is definitely a great addition. But that's not everything, because I'm not the only one building here. Mr. Wild has been building, and he's also called in some help from Ness here for this tavern, which is looking awesome. It's a well, shipwreck, as you can see. Very wise of them to use a shark figurehead. I wish ARK would have done that. That would have been great. But yeah, this is a tavern being, I mean, I think it's pretty close to getting finished, but yeah, it's looking really cool. You can see the overgrown bits. It's kind of crashed on these rocks next to the ocean platform, which is really, really cool. Got some great shapes, and then this shipwreck has been turned into a tavern, so it's kind of been refurbished into a tavern, which is really nice. You can see the bar over here. You can see some nice chairs and places to sit, but also still some cannons standing around, which is a really cool addition. And yeah, it's quite a nice build. I quite like the way the whole shape came together here. They did a great job. And yeah, you've got the rigging and everything, the masts and the sails still being there. Yeah, this is a really, really cool build. And I mean, it's not completely done yet, so at some point we'll see the finished result, but it's definitely already looking quite cool, to be sure. And then we got a bunch of warehouses here as well, because I mean, this is or Harbour, of course, so I think this is the wood warehouse, because I'm pretty sure he's planning on adding like warehouses for every single material. So I guess this is the thatch one, which is quite nice. It's quite cool, because we'll need a bunch of buildings, and you can see we have a bunch more of the harbor to kind of fill in and make look like a proper little harbor here. But yeah, these buildings are definitely getting the vibe right. And then I think this is the main kind of like crafting hall for the harbor area. There's nothing in there yet, because we're just teleporting back and forth for the time being, but I guess we are smelting some metal in here already. So yeah, humble beginnings here in the harbor, but of course, since we're already kind of established and it's still on the same island, it's a little quicker to get us started, especially with teleporting being an option. But yeah, just having that dragon in the background, of course, is a great location. And then especially knowing that inside of that dragon is the rest of our base is just a really cool thing. So anyway, I just wanted to give you kind of a look behind the scenes of us working on the Tribe base. I'm trying to give you a few glimpses here and there before the whole thing is finished, since there won't be any like tutorials for these buildings, because I'm working together, of course, with my tribe mates on this. And also, this is just what I do when I just want to play some ARK and not think about having to do tutorials, so I can do a bit more things like clipping structures, which of course you can't do on official. I can just use mods if I need to, etc. But if you see anything cool, especially from the things that I've built, and you like that kind of style, let me know, because of course, like I did with my tribe house in the shanty town, I might make it into a separate build that can be done on official, so I can do a full tutorial on it. So maybe if you want to kind of have a Havana inspired building for a base, let me know, and maybe we can do a build video for that in the future. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hope to see you again in the next video or the next stream. For now, goodbye.